this shit for the hood, cause that's where I came from. Mama told me be humble, I told her nowadays that shit don't pay off. I need a 30 for 30, I'm hooping like Boogie, but now I don't play ball. Do this shit for the hood, cause that's where I came from. Mama told me be humble, I told her nowadays that shit don't pay off. I need a 30 for 30, I'm hooping like Boogie, but now I don't play ball.
Yes, my guy. Appreciate you for coming on here. Let me tell you a story, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let me run a little bit that I got on you. You know, Doug Tucker, Abraham Lincoln rail splitter, first team all public league, average 17.3, senior year. What's up, Doug?
Not much, man. I'm here, man. Those were some good times, the Lincoln High School times. Yeah.
All right, my first question for you, Doug, is who put the ball in your hand?
My father.
Your father put the ball in your hand.
Yeah, my father put the ball in my hand.
Tell me about them early stages of him putting the ball in your hand.
Well, I don't have the greatest memories of the earliest stages because I was 2. We got pictures of him. You know what I'm saying? Me shooting basketball. You know, the little Fisher Price courts in the kitchen. My mom and dad both got some good pictures of me shooting or throwing the ball at the court. I won't say shooting, but throwing the ball at the court when I was about 2 years old. So that was like the earliest times of me getting to touch the basketball.
Did you have bunnies then?
I mean, I felt like for a 2-year-old, I jumped pretty high.
That shit in high school was ridiculous. All right, you went to Abe Lincoln. Why you choose Abraham Lincoln? Why you choose to be a rail splitter out of all the schools in Philadelphia at the time?
For one, it was one of the only schools that was accepting me from the behavior past I had from middle school. I was able to get in there due to a teacher that ran like the horticulture department, Dr. Kennedy. I'll never forget him because it was like an opportunity of a lifetime for real, you know. And I took it. You know, it was the best thing possible, or it was boarding school or some type of military. It was that kind of road. So, you know, him giving me that chance. I was in his science camp during the summer, so he see that I had a little high IQ for the sciences and stuff. So I entered into a contest. I won first place at the Science Academy. He said, "No, we need, you know, guys with high IQs like yourself to be, you know, in performing arts schools." So he got me in Lincoln.
Yeah, my brother Don went to Lincoln. He old as fuck. He graduated like '96. He used to talk about Lincoln all the time. He still talk about Lincoln to this day. Lincoln got a lot of people around the city, like a lot of alumni around the city. That's one of the schools he actually wanted me to go to, but my first school was Mass Bomb, believe it or not.
Right, I remember situation.
Yeah, crazy situation, but yeah, Mass Bomb. Tell me about your high school career though, starting from ninth grade on, because like we noticed the senior, 11th grade, 12th grade.
Right.
What's up with ninth and 10th grade?
9th and 10th grade, was a kid that was, you know, looking for, I won't say acceptance, but some type of embracive affection from people outside of home. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid that was really excited, like most, to go into, you know, high school, coming from middle school. You know, you feel like you're growing up. Met some of my longtime friends that are still great friends of mine to this day. And, you know, I pushed the beat like everybody else and just tried to make it through. Athletics came around. You know, we all tried out for the team. I think out of like the 40 friends that tried out, I think only 2 made it. I wasn't one of them. So, you know, that was like a heartbreak in the beginning. And they said that when we had a freshman team or a JV team, for sure you'll be able to make that team. So that kind of like hit me hard.
So you only had varsity?
Yeah, we only had varsity at the time when I was in 9th grade.
That's crazy. I ain't know that.
Yeah, they ended up getting us a JV team. Come 10th grade, we had Malik Alvin. You know, a lot of people know who Malik Alvin is. Our time.
Yeah, that's scrub. Yeah, he
was that guy back then. You know, he had was a little more advanced than a lot of us when it came to organized basketball. So his intensity was something that I kind of like chased when it came to wanting to be noticed by coaches and respected by like the players around me. So it became like a nice little rivalry amongst my peers. It was, you know, he and I. So we developed a good rapport that helped me actually get better in high school. But the coach didn't have enough room for the both of us on the varsity team because he said we played the same position. Which, you know, at the time you're a kid, you don't understand that. It's like, man, if you got hoopers, you know, put the hoopers on. But I played on the JV team. They finally got us a JV team, and we actually was able to get one in time for a full schedule. I ended up, I think, averaging like 38 or 39 for JV. Like, it was, you know, for lack of a better term, JV was a joke. Come on. JV was a joke, man. So, coach got to see that. You know, I got to compete and, well, in a lot of tournaments and stuff. And it got me bumped up. It got me bumped up to varsity. I got to play like 1 or 2 games, and then we was in the playoffs, I think against Bartram. We didn't do too good that year, but I was able to score.
Is that the year Bartram won it?
Yeah, that's the year they won it. Yeah, they was unstoppable. I think we had them first round. We had to deal with Bartram. You know, that was like too much to deal with. Yeah, that was too much to deal with at the time. My son got to be a part of the podcast.
He got to. He good. What's up, little man?
Yeah.
That's right. Your dad.
Yeah.
All right. So when did you make that jump? Like what and you made that jump from your 11th grade, 12th grade year? So I know that's the year Malik was gone by then, right?
Yeah, Malik had left. So, you know, that kind of like opened the floor up for a new sheriff in town.
Well, you said that one.
Yeah, like they knew, like it was my time, my team when it happened. So I don't know, it started off pretty well, but I still had troubles and stuff at home that made its way into the outside world, and I started to get in trouble. So when I got in trouble, I got suspended from the team for behavior reasons, you know. And my father felt like we needed an opportunity to give me a fresh start. I wasn't ready for it because I know at the time I thought it was taking me away from like my family, you know, the move that he wanted to make, you know, custody battles and stuff going on. There was a lot going on at home. You know how moms and dads are when they at each other when it comes to that stuff. It's like they'll weaponize the children against, you know, each other's parent based on false desires that they presented, you know, that made us go to either mom house or dad house. And it wasn't cool. I got caught up in that twist and turn of life, and we ended up going to Abington. So we went to Abington. As soon as I got to Abington Senior High School, that kind of like changed or transformed my game because everything out there was about the fundamentals. Me being a city player, street ball game, you know, real aggressive, the Philly kind of guard. You know,
I had that same adjustment in Williamsport when I had to go to Williamsport. Yeah.
I had to get used to that. You know, I was able to meet guys like John Harnett. You know, rest his soul.
Rest in peace, Johnny H.
I got to work out with him. He actually got me and my father in contact with Mr. Sam Ryans Sr., Big Sam. You know, and he took a liking to me and told me about the potential that he felt like I had in the game of basketball. And you know, I started to work with some of the top talents out. I want to say in PA because it wasn't just like Abington guys or Cheltenham guys that were there. There was guys from all over PA that came and worked out, like Wayne Ellington, Joe Henderson, you know, guys of that nature that came through that. You know, I got to see that, it was dogs. You know, like Doug Tucker wasn't the only Doug Tucker that existed. Like I got to see was other guys that could run, jump, shoot. You know, it was an awakening experience. Once I got used to the setting and learning how to, I guess, cope with being away from what I felt like was my family, I just embraced it. I started to love it. I did my thing in a couple of big tournaments, like the William Tennant tournament and stuff like that. Some highlights out there is like, I think in the William Tennant championship game, we played against William Tennant High. Their center was Lavoy Allen. You know, I kind of bring this up to him every now and then. You know, he might come across his podcast, but, you know, I had to throw it down on Lavoy. I think twice that game. Oh man, I dunked on Big Void twice, man.
He a good dude. That's a good dude, right
there. Yeah. So, segueing back into the Lincoln situation, things didn't work out well in Abington. I was, like I said, a trouble kid. There were some things emotionally I couldn't understand how to separate. What was good for me and versus things that were good to me. You know what I mean? That kept me in a really separated place in life. And I wanted to get back home, So it was like I was homesick, though I was only up the street and in Willow
you're right up
Grove.
the road.
Right up the road, man.
Ain't nothing like that. Ain't nothing like being home though.
Ain't nothing like being home, man. So, went through what we went through for that process. It wasn't the prettiest of processes. It was really ugly, especially for the family. Like I said, dealing with the custody battles and stuff like that. Different forms of abuse took place, and it was overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? As a man now, I understand some of the things like my father went through. But as a child, growing up with a dream or having aspirations to become something, what I felt like was more than what was being offered to myself, my dad really didn't have the time that I thought fathers would put into children or student athletes with my potential. So I got away from it. We came back into Philly. The first school I actually got back into was Strawberry Mansion. I didn't want to be in Mansion. I didn't want to be directly back in the hood. All our friends down there, niggas getting shot. Pardon my language. People getting shot, getting robbed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it was like, nah, this ain't it down here. So I got transferred to Simon Gratz High School.
I went there.
Coach Poole seen me and lost his mind in the office and was like, yo, Doug, oh my God, you and Malik this year. I know we winning the championship. Like, let's win.
That's ironic. It's ironic that Coach Poole said you and Malik this year, but your Lincoln coach said, I don't got enough basketball to neither one of y'all.
Which was
coaching
wild
go
to
a
me.
long way. Coaching go a long way.
And we're gonna definitely get into that statement right there about how coaching goes a long way. But when he said that, it was like a reminder, like, damn, oh yeah, Malik is there. I felt like, well, I need to be competing against a guy like Malik. I'm not in the same team. I didn't want to be on an overloaded team. Gratz is
loaded.
That's royalty right there. You know what I'm saying?
1 through 12.
Yeah, 1 through 12. You're getting D1 work. Like it's there. But I didn't see the vision Coach Poole had because I wanted to get back to Lincoln. Like I missed all my friends at Lincoln. You know what I mean? And I'm like, nah, that's where my home is at. Like if I can get back into Lincoln, that'd be good. So I kind of like rebelled at being, in school, being a part of anything Gratz had going on, and we, ultimately had to get a court order that got me back in Lincoln High School. And then that's when, like, things took their turn at the time, for the good. I ran again right into the coach. Well, not immediately into the coach. First people noticed that I was back into the school. They let the coach know that I was there. The lunch period came and they said, yo, Coach Gittleman wants you, at the office. If you can come to the office. I ain't make it to the office as fast as he made it to the hallway that I was in. And the dude, if everybody remember Coach Gittleman from Lincoln, he was like 6'9", 6'10". Looked like Phil Jackson, man. Big giant white guy.
Yep.
Man, the dude picked me up. I felt violated in every right, but he was like overexcited to see me back in the school. And I didn't understand it because, at one time I wasn't, it wasn't enough basketballs or my potential wasn't right or ripe enough to blossom on the court with his system. There was a lot of things for him to see me after, my troubled year, the year before, for him to see me for my senior year and say that, like, yo, you pretty much like everything that I need to be out here. Like I got your newspaper clippings. I got a lot of online articles about you from Abington Senior High. He said a lot of the tournaments that you were in, AAU tournaments, working out with Mr. Sam Ryans, playing for them. He said your Sunny Hill year was unbelievably exceptional. He was like, I need you to run the show here at Lincoln. Like you're the captain of the team. Don't worry about tryouts. We'll let you pick what you think is best to build around you. So this was like a whole 360 to
when we barely won you. Now this is your team. You got the green light.
It was the green light. So I felt embraced. I felt the love that I was looking for. I felt like, it was finally my time. Like the movie life for the American dream. Everybody wants to live as a student athlete. Like I was really getting to live that. I lived it at Abington. I didn't want to dig too deep into like the Abington phase, but I wanted to get back into Lincoln where I was able to shine a little more in our little urban communities and stuff like that. We got our team. Was put together with a couple of really, really formidable basketball players.
Name a few of them. Give them their
shout out. Man, Denzel Jackson, man, my guy.
Yes.
We had Denzel Jackson. We had Christian Paul Hill. We had Brandon Bowles, rest his soul, was a really, really good left-handed point guard out of Lindenfield Projects. My guy, Brand.
He
Um,
he like Rick. He had the braids, right?
yeah,
That
yeah,
you
yeah.
talking about?
Yeah. He wasn't Rican.
Yeah, he was.
Everybody thought he was Rican,
I
but
thought he was
yeah,
Rican.
but
Yeah. I thought he was Rican.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
you're
He
talking
had
about.
he had
You're
the
talking about.
braids, man. Left-handed
Fact.
guy. Frederick Mann. You had Jacques Harris, Ian Thomas, Javier Watson. Like we had a really, 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 really good team. Big Llama Beans. I can't remember Llama whole name. I just remember his first name was Fadges Wilson. Okay, there we go. We got it out. I remembered it. So we had a really good team. Um, some guys went their different ways with different sports and stuff like that, but I think Denzel held on to it the longest when it came to our love for basketball and our journey to become professional players. And Denzel was able to accomplish that. So
Mm.
I'm glad he was able to. He always gave me thanks for being the push, that he needed, or being, I don't know, like a paragon for him, like a model for excellence when it came to competitiveness and just learning how to be that guy on the basketball court. And he
Yeah.
kept it up, and I appreciate that he was able to do that. He had a pretty good career overseas, I would say.
Uh,
Um, Lincoln was what it was. I went all public first team. I kind of like to have the bragging rights, and this ain't being arrogant or nothing like that. It ain't nobody from that class can ever say like, oh yeah, I remember when we bust
Cook
Doug
Chuck.
ass. So I remember
Yeah.
I cooked Doug, or I gave. It never happened to Doug Tucker. I can't recall. And if anybody can, I would love for you to, call me and let me know. Remind me of when that time was, whether it was public league, AAU, or Sunny Hill. My 12th grade year was a pretty big year. I got the Marks Wood Award, as a lot of athletes did, for outstanding student athlete in 2006.
Mm.
Part of that came into the voting for public league MVP.
Mm.
And I got beat out by a very great player, which I don't argue at that time probably deserved it, because his team, he was a leader on a team that went far further than my own did, and that was Rodney Green. That was
Probably one
Rodney
of them
Green.
ones.
Prep charter. Yeah, he one of them ones, bro. Big
Yeah, one of
major
them ones.
respect to Rodney. But I felt good even being, high up in those votes. I think it was me, Rodney, Mumu from Mansion.
Mention, yeah, they point guard. He different.
Yeah, he was different, bro.
Officer Mumu now. Officer Mumu.
Officer, I think it's like Lieutenant Sergeant Mumu or something
Yeah.
like that. Like
Yes.
he
Facts.
big
Facts.
dog. Yeah.
Facts.
And it was Lewis Leonard from Frankfurt, for sure, for sure. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that was great to be amongst those names, and of course Malik Allen. It was great to be amongst those names for that consideration. And it kind of came down to coaches voting. They went with a lot of different factors, and even those other teams that went further than ours, when they went to individual style and play and position, Rodney Green, rightfully so, had a little edge on us that we didn't get, just to give respect where it's due. But when we got to compete against each other, like I said, there's nobody that can say that they outclassed me in any way. So, I was a pretty good player. Following that, we have whatever the next question is leading in or out of the
I
story.
got you. Before we go there, I want to know what's your most memorable game in high school?
Oh man!
Before we leave high school alone.
Before we leave high school alone, the most memorable is either I got three of them, but I'm a detail one more than the other. The Comtech game when we played against Bartram, they point guard was Gennaro Lucas. Another one of their star players was Scooty Reynolds.
Scooty Randall, yeah, Scooty Randall,
Yeah,
right.
Scooty Randall, right? Scooty Randall. That was a great game. We played at Pepper Middle School, which everybody knows Pepper is built like a college. The school was huge, gym was huge. The crowd was unbelievably invasive. They were disrespectful. They were criminals.
Yes, I said it was criminals.
You know what I'm saying? It was
He's
not
going
a
against
safe
Southwest,
environment
cuz.
to
He's
be.
going against
Yeah, it was.
Southwest.
It was
And
Doug.
y'all Northeast school. Like y'all think they
Northeast
think y'all
team.
sweet. Yeah, they think y'all sweet
Man,
up there.
yeah, they treated us like we was the county. I'm like, nah, I'm Doug from North. Like I'm from Northfield. Like I don't know where the rest of my teammates are. I'm from North. Like, of course I held it down. They didn't really beat us by that much, but our coach at the time felt like we should play a respectable game and not look to blow them out which to me, I said, Coach, they number one right now in the state. What do you mean don't blow them out? Like he wanted us to. He had some type of rapport, respect for their coach that he didn't want us to put our
over with
1-3-1 press on them. I don't know what the coach is thinking, but the plans didn't work out right, and ultimately ended up losing the game. But if anybody remembers from that game, high intensity game, I got 2 fast breaks. Hey, don't do that. I got 2 fast breaks, dunks. The first one, of course, everybody know I like to go up 2 feet, left hand leaning, John, just to throw it down, get myself amped up. So as I did, I ran by their crowd. I'm grabbing my jersey, throwing it in their face and all of that. The security holding people back from running on the court.
They ready to stab you.
Oh man, they ready to do more than that. You know what I'm saying? So they coach like, it's cool. They're bringing the ball up the court. Gennaro coming up. We playing a 1-3-1. I'm at the top. He went to do, I guess, what he thought was about to be a good move, like a little curl move. He thought I went for it. I jumped the spot, and he like threw the ball right in my lap. I throw the ball out forward, bro. I take off for one of the most monstrous 2 hands I've ever done in my basketball career, and 3 or 4 nails from the ceiling fell down, and he stopped the game for about 10-15 minutes to see if it was still safe to play. The refs came to me and said, listen, while y'all going this half of the court, you cannot dunk anymore. We got to stop the game. And of course, if they stopped it, we was down by like 8 points. They stopped it. They was going to have to just rule it out as we lose the game.
Lost. Yeah.
So the coach like, Doug, no more dunks on that side of the court. So I'm like, all right. We got back within 1 before the half. When we switched courts, I think the second play, we in a 1-3-1. It was the half court set. They threw a bad cross court pass.
Terrible in a 1-3-1.
Terrible. Like, why would you do that? Like, it's designed to take away the cross court pass. We get the steal. I think it was Javier Watson. He threw it forward to me. I'm already out in the break. Damn near like cherry pick mode. I catch it. It was windmill time, bro. I had to take the ball from 12 o'clock to 12 o'clock, bro. I dunk it. Nails fall from the other end. They stopped the game for like another 5 minutes. They said, listen, there will be no more dunking in this building or we stopping the game. So we weren't even allowed to dunk no more, but I always like to take pride in I broke 2 courts in high school. You know what I'm saying? In the same gym from dunking. I had to stop dunking. The Northeast High game, at the time, I was really being known for becoming a really good scorer. I had just came off like my biggest article in the Northeast Times. It was titled Ready to Soar. It's the one with the poster, I was dunking backwards and all that. It was in like every 7-Eleven in the city at the time. So I really was feeling like I was becoming that guy. Northeast wasn't trying to hear that. I think they had Tyron Lights was their guard. They had Tyrone Blasting Game and Sean Evans. Big Sean Evans. Shout out to Sean. Had a great
forget about
career. Yeah, they be forgetting.
And he was better at football.
Oh yeah, way better. Could have been NFL tight end or wide receiver right now.
But
I only had 2 points about a half. And they was talking crazy shit. Oh yeah, they strapped me, bro. It was wild. Like, man, this Lincoln right here. Like, no, y'all light. It was up by like, I don't know, probably like 10. My cousin was in the crowd, snapping, going crazy. He like, yo, cuz I was talking shit all week. Like, what are you doing, man? You supposed to be the best in the world. Like, I'm like, calm down.
Like my little brother. Like my little brother.
I need to figure it out. I said, I got you coming out in the second half. Second half, this is a historical game for Lincoln because that was our rival at the time for basketball. And just historical for myself and the people that was there. I went on a 27-2 run by myself in the second half. I mean, they didn't score no more in the second half of the game, but 2 points. I got the last 27 points of the game. And I think my second to last play, like to seal the game, I plucked around lights. I'm running fast break. I don't know what play they was running, but Shiz and Blasting Game was at the top of the key. They both chasing me. I throw the ball in between them to split and take off. The rest was history. I banged on both of them. Both of them fell. I'm yelling over top of both of them, screaming in their face. They coach called timeout. We come back and I shoot the free throw. My coach subbed me out. I ain't played the last like 6 minutes of the game. So my team just played defense. Nobody scored. We ended up winning the game. So that was the Northeast game. Now, Philly at that time, that was the mixtape era. Head shots. So everybody divided amongst who the best rappers are and all of that. And of course, anything North Philly was, what it was. And I'm from down, the Girard area. You know what I'm saying? I'm from down at College Wall area. So 29th Street, 28th Street, 27th Street is the on-in guys.
Yes.
Shout out to the boy Magic.
And
you know what I'm
Magic
saying?
and too sick.
Magic and 2-6 still
Yeah.
itches. You know what I'm saying? The guys, right?
Right.
We played against Strawberry Mansion. They ended up beating us. I fouled out of that game. I think I had all my fouls, offensive fouls. Me trying to dunk on somebody. It was all charges that they took. 3 of them was Mumu. Played great defense. I said, I'm gonna just jump over him. You know what I mean? Like we do out at the park. I'm gonna just take off and go over him. I couldn't quite get my sneaker past his shoulder, so they turned into charges. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, you just said his sneakers past his shoulders.
Yeah. I was really trying to jump.
You up?
Yeah.
That ain't
way
a charge,
up there.
Bro.
Yeah.
Charge, bro.
Nah, it shouldn't have been a charge. It shouldn't have been a charge at all,
bro.
But they got me for it, and that was cool. Eugene Moss is on their team. Back then, he had one of the best jump shots I've ever seen at that time. Like Gene was different. Yeah, Gene was different. They center Big John. I got a good crossover off on Mumu. It was finally like my only way I really got free from him. I go down the paint, left-handed, off 1 foot, bro. I just had to put it as high as I could because they had towers on their team. You remember Mansion back then? They had like 4 guys that was like 6'6", 6'7". You know what I'm saying? It was a big team. Gene at like 6'4", 6'5". It was a big team, bro. I just remember taking off, Statue of Liberty type John. I dunked this John. I get the and-1. Crowd, it was a home court game. So, the crowd going nuts. Dudes is falling off of it. Lincoln had the bleachers that was like upstairs. You had to go upstairs to get the bleachers and stuff.
Yeah.
People falling off the bleachers, hanging over. I'm screaming on name. They screaming on name. The whole Strawberry Mansion area down North Philly is up there, bro. It was unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. We was into social media marketing and stuff like that back then. I would have got a shirt. That would have been a poster. I'd have had on name on that joint. Like,
listen, I'm happy you brought that up because that's my next question, man. How you feel about these NIL deals going on for these high school and college players, man?
Ironically, I used to feel like there's a lot of us that didn't get to play pro. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody got the opportunities like yourself and, or was able to understand where to take the opportunity to become a pro player as we were younger. And unfortunately, guys didn't get to do much after that. It became a real depression for a lot of guys. They couldn't get out of those ruts of thinking that they became nothing in life. So they became not what I don't want to say they became nothing, but they didn't get to become what they thought their potential said that they could.
Potential.
Yeah, and I think what's going on today with these athletes being able to be paid or compensated for bringing money into these institutions, into these universities, to receive some type of stipend for it, I think it's incredible. I think it's probably the best thing that could happen to sports is being able to give these kids an opportunity to still get paid to play while they're getting their education, because in case they don't make it, which we know the percentages of people that get to make it to the league, you know what I'm saying, let alone even guys getting the opportunity to go overseas. I know some great players that work at Walmart, bro. I know some great players that are security guards right now. You know what I'm saying? And now that they don't enjoy their jobs, but these people that you would think like, damn, I think if he would have had the opportunity, he would have made it. You know what I'm saying? But given that that they're giving these athletes, these contracts, I think they're still able to take care of themselves from something that they used to love, or that they put so much time into creating an environment where bigger institutions or families that are run by these organizations are making millions, billions of dollars off of their talents. It gives them that opportunity to be able to take care of themselves when the flame has finally went out on their athletics. So I think that's a great thing that they're doing with these kids, man. And I hope they find ways to pay them more.
Yo, can you imagine if LeBron, Reese Rice had an NIL deal? Mark Tyndall, when they was playing.
Man, listen, Tyndall would have definitely been a contracted player. He would have got some great money. You got guys. Dustin Salisbury would have been somebody that would have been paid. Maurice Rice would have been a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Guys like LeBron James. You talking about he a billionaire now? You know
He
that
got it
billionaire.
earlier.
Yeah,
He
that would have
got it early in
happened
his career.
15 years ago. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Especially with the way that they, the growth of social media.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's and those guys were the ones that were like you would see in life like then they was guaranteed to make it, or guaranteed, to get some type of compensation out of basketball, and they all are
Mhm.
in many different ways. But
Yeah.
back then, I can only imagine what push that would have gave guys like Tyndall to even be even more in the gym than he was. To even get stronger than he was, faster than what he was, to become what was really needed to keep an NBA job. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
You know, I can't imagine if Jason Dugans was able to get an NIL contract. Vinnie Simpson to get an NIL contract. Uh, Matthew Johnson, Eugene Moss. You know what I mean? Those guys were really really tough guys. It was who played with us, man. I remember a guard, man. I feel like his name was Paris. I think he played for Frieri. He was their guard back in 06, 05, 06. He was
No,
their
that's
guard,
good.
man. Unbelievable athlete, bro. I could be saying his name wrong. I can't remember. He was an unbelievable athlete. He went all public. So I probably got to just check the all public list to see.
Mhm.
But he was all that. But just guys like that you don't see on the basketball circuit anymore. If they got NIL contracts, who knows what how much more success they would have in life because they have the funds from what they love to do or used to love to do.
I got you. What was
Yeah.
your you being Mr. All Pub and everything in '06? What was your college recruitment like? Who you had letters from?
So this is the question that we get back to from, or the statement we get back to from earlier about how coaching plays a major fact in what goes on with the student athletes, right? All right.
Mhm.
So I had, I want to say, I want to call it like a recruitment letter, but I think the biggest back then was Temple had just got Fran Dunphy as their coach. Fran Dunphy sent the letter out to Abington, and it was kind of like wired to Lincoln for me because he left Penn, he went to Temple. I want to say for me that was like the biggest thing is like, then who don't want to play for Temple? We from North, like we want to play for Temple.
Facts.
You know what I
That's
mean?
North Philly University.
Yeah, that's North Philly University, bro. So
Facts.
that was like the biggest to me back then. As far as recruitment goes, every like D2 in the state wanted me. I think I would have probably considered Mansfield now that I had a better understanding of, you know, what how collegiates go. You know what I mean? How collegiate
Mhm.
athletics go and stuff like that. I probably
Mhm.
would have chose the D2 route with
Mhm.
Mansfield University at the time. I think it was the number one D2 in the country. They had just won national, and they was offering a full scholarship
Mhm.
there. Strasburg, of course, Bloomsburg, um, Lincoln, Cheney came up. It was that kind of recruiting. I think the biggest out of state was Coppin State.
They love Philly
Yeah,
players. They love
yeah,
Philly
they
guards.
love Philly guards, man. So
Shout out
that
to
was,
Taiwan.
yeah, for
Shout
sure.
out to Taiwan
That's
McKee holding it
man,
down.
Taiwan McKee, that dude, boy. Um, but my coach, I think he was big on what I believe to be his reputation. If we made him look good in the public eye or in the news, because the news is always at my games at Lincoln. Um, and every other day they put out an article. It was up in the office, in the athletic, director's office, in his office. And I always was big on, giving guys their respect or, giving them props. So even if I felt like some type of directive needed to be made towards somebody that I felt like was in the picture, which would be a coach and things of that nature, I would say his name in different interviews and stuff like that so they can come and talk to him and he'll have his own little section of the article and stuff. Because I think
Mhm.
that's what athletes were supposed to do. And
Showing
for real,
love.
for real, it kind of only played into his convenience. It didn't really benefit me to even do so.
Mhm.
Um, I had at the end of the year, we had got voted out of the playoffs. Which you remember, I want you to help me with my documentary about being derailed. You know, linking the rail splitters, how we got derailed in my senior year. By way of voting, a lot of people don't know the PIAA has started doing like the coaches can vote their team and one other team in for the playoffs, especially if there were record ties. For some strange reason, our coach didn't pick us. He picked 2 teams that were already going to the playoffs. And I think out of the 4 teams, including our own, that were up for voting, I think each of those schools voted for us and themselves. So they all was able to get their own vote in, and his extra vote sent one of them to the playoffs, and it sent us home, man. My own high school coach. And he was on the PIAA coaches committee and everything. I never, ever understood that. We came back to practice to see the newspaper the next day, devastated, heartbroken, people crying.
That's when the states got involved in Philly, because before the states wasn't involved, right? We just playing for the public league.
We was playing for the public league, so we was crushed by that. First round would have been when they had the mock playoffs. First round would have been against Gratz. We don't know how that would have turned out. We know Gratz won the championship in 2006, but we don't know how that could have played out if we got to play them first round of the playoffs.
They didn't win states though.
No, they didn't win states. They got crushed in the states, but they won the public league though.
Yeah, we didn't take. That's before Philly knew how serious the states was. We ain't never take state serious till probably BA and them era, when BA and them started coming in.
That's 4 or 5 years after us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We ain't know. I had a whiff of what it was like being on Abington, because I got to play.
Yeah, me too in Williamsport. Yeah, me and
PW and all of them. You know what I mean? I seen playing White Marsh. I didn't even know basketball powerhouses existed like that in high school.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? When I seen them Episcopal boys, and I'm like, oh no, these guys the real deal. Like,
yeah, now you know why they're going to Duke in North Carolina.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, like it was different.
Ironically, though, the school shut down after they leave. They like a year left, and then it's over with.
It was over with. Yeah.
The Tyreek Evans effect.
The Tyreek Evans effect. That's exactly what it was, bro. Shout out to Reek too, man. Young always been tough, bro.
I had to guard that ball.
Yeah.
Speaking of that segment right there, who was the toughest person in the public league in your high school time that you had to guard?
The toughest that I had to guard public league. Man, it was so many good players. Believe it or not, he might have came a class or two. It's 2 of them that was very, very difficult to guard. Malik Waynes, though he was younger than us, he still was. Smack was. He was different with that ball in his hand. I think my most fierce competition was always Bradley Wanamaker. You know what I'm saying? We was always like the same kind of players, same strength, same heights. You know what I'm saying?
2 pros you just named. 2 NBA pros you just named. That tell you a lot right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Right there, you feel me? And high D1 players, you feel me?
High D1, you know what I'm saying? But Hanif Nixon, man.
They forget about Neef.
People forget about Neef, bro. Man, listen, and he was, even back then, 6'4", 6'5" point guard. That right there was probably one of the greatest challenges. And he was younger, so it really used to frustrate me that I couldn't kind of do. It's okay. I couldn't.
I wish he took the game a little bit more serious.
He would have had. It's okay. He would have had a great.
He one of them ones.
Yeah, he would have had a great career, bro. He was frustrating to guard, bro. 6'5". He put you in the post 94 feet. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even that he was strong. He just was smart. Knew how to turn his body, knew how to protect the ball. He always had like a very high IQ. He gonna get 15 points. He gonna get 10 assists, and he might have 9 rebounds and 4 blocks. Like, damn, Youngin did all that this game. Like, he was just different. So big respects to him being one of the most talented guys that I had to actually like defend or play against. Yeah, Neef
Nixon.
Yeah, Neef was tough, bro. Neef was tough. Everybody else was pretty much, it came with the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, getting more in depth into your story. After you make all pub, you in the newspaper, time and time again.
Yeah.
Time again. You're going around, you dumping on everybody. You're doing all this. And then the next thing you know, you on the news. When you turn the TV on, you on the news. for this mistake
Yeah,
that altered for this mistake that altered your entire life, your whole outcome,
for
your whole outcome
sure.
in your life. You know what I'm saying? It took a lot of years from your life. Um, I want you to go in depth of like I don't want like I know that it's over, you served your time and everything like that, but I want to know like the conversation that was had that made you say, all right, and what mindset you was in to even agree with going on and being down with what you did.
So coaching, I reached out. Finally, I was able to break my pride to reach out for help. I needed a lot of help back then. Mental health is serious, as well as emotional health, especially for young black men. Not many of us found avenues where it was safe or a safe space, and a lot of men don't even till today um, don't find a safe space to seek help at all.
Mm-hmm.
I went to
Right.
my coach for help. Um, my family was going through a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't quite understanding what my life would have been with basketball because I didn't know about those recruits that I had mentioned that I had coming out of high school because I didn't see none of the letters until the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wanted to say some of the biggest things that came out of that was actually an invite to 5-star camp, Eastern Invitational,
Okay, Eastern
um,
Invitational. That was one of the big
uh,
ones.
right, ABCD camp, and at the time when Nike camp was becoming like the thing, when they was going to phase out the ABCD,
Mm-hmm.
I seen these and I was blown away that my name was on any of these letters, to be invited. I didn't know it came from different tournaments and stuff that they see me in. And like I said, some things were pretty much sent from the time I was out Edmonton into Lincoln, and the coach handed them all to me at the end of the year. By the time I opened them up, everything was already like
It's
to its
over
full
with.
capacity, finished. It was done.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't get the chance to go play against where they would have been All Americans. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what type of exposure that would have been for me. So once that happened, I kind of was like flatlined as to what was next. So I didn't talk to any colleges, nobody outside of Ted Solari and Joe Mason from the newspapers calling me to do interviews. I ain't talking to no coaching and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I was one of those guys that, you know what, I'm gonna see what I could do with AAU and see what Sunny Hill will bring me, and let's see if I can make something of it. Then, even then, um, I feel like me and Carl, and I forgot what other player, and I mean Carl Howard from Grat. Shout out to Carl.
Carl,
Um,
what's up?
we was the leading scorers of the Sunny Hill League. The '06 year and '07 year, the year that I unfortunately made the irrational decision that I did to get incarcerated. And when I finally was being like actively recruited, Sunny Hill, Mr. Sunny Hill, shout out to Sunny, did a lot for many basketball players over the years. He got me in contact with Mark Macon. Mark Macon came to my last 6 games leading into the semifinals uh, that we lost and told me that he was recruiting me for UGA, but he was transferring to the University of Binghamton. I ain't know what Binghamton was. I thought I was so out of it. I was like being smart and sarcastic with him. I'm like, what they D4? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't got time for that.
Disrespectful young boy. You
This
were disrespectful
Oh,
as young boy.
I was out of pocket, bro.
And
You know, my
to Mark making at that too. You
Listen, I
disrespectful
couldn't
as
even
ain't.
figure out who he was until one of my dad's friends walked up to me and was like, "Yo, you don't know who this is?" And I'm like, "Nah,
Yeah.
but I guess he know who I am. So
Yeah.
what are we talking about? Still arrogant, still being a
Mm-hmm.
little a-hole." And he's like, "Man, you in
Mm-hmm.
Temple University? This is Mark Macon." They had to say it
Facts.
like 3-4 times for it to click. I'm like shaking and baking, and they both was like Mark Macon. I'm
Okay.
like, oh my God, bro. So I finally apologized. He said, look, I know it's a lot going on with you. I kind of got a good, some background. I'm like, I didn't know where you got that much because I didn't even recognize who he was. But he actually did have a good little background on some of the things that I've been through. I think all the way back to like 6th or 7th grade or something like that. But by then it was kind of already like too late. I was trying to figure out what could I do to take care of my family. What could be done for them that'll get them set or I guess in a safe place to be taken care of financially while I'm still trying to pursue this dream. I had a child on the way, my oldest
Your
daughter.
brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, we lived the house that my mom had gave me on 22nd and Dolphin. It ain't nowhere in hell humans should have been inside of it. I wouldn't leave animals inside of that joint.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of tough on my younger siblings, Mara, Mikey, and Judy. They was the light of my life. Like everything I did was for them. You know what I mean? They came to my games. They cheered me on. It may be a crowd full of 600-700 people. I could hear their little voices chanting my name. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Cheering for me. I could hear their claps. And it was a lot of nights, bro. We went and it wasn't nothing to eat. It was nowhere to feed them. I went to school plenty of times, starving, bro. Probably eating 2-3 days, forcing the school lunch down as much as possible, seeing what I could take from school lunch to take home to them to see if they'll try to eat it after they've been in my book bag all day long. You know what I'm saying? It was tough times. The custody battles had made it to the most ugliest point. Mom and dad at the time was, unfortunately, in a neglectful situation when it came to us, and I felt like something needed to be done to feed them. You know what I'm saying? I needed some type of money to make sure that it was gonna be okay. So a couple friends of mine, somehow we got together and they had an idea. It didn't sound like the most fantastic of ideas, but the way the conversation was simplified, unfortunately, I agreed that I thought it would work. Being naive to criminality, none of us is really criminals. So an act of criminality is what incriminated us all. And by the time I got to talk to Mark Macon, I already committed. And I'm like, well, this basketball thing might not be a guarantee. If this at the end of my line, I get, this guy that's going to be trying out to be a coach. He's going to be an interim coach up there before he got the head coaching job. I'm thinking he might not even be in a guaranteed space in his joint. That's because I didn't understand the politics of the game, what was going on, and I was clouded by my depressions and stuff at home. Right. We kind of, we went for it. We said we're gonna go, we're gonna try it. If it work out, we're gonna be up a little bit, and then it'll create a little comfort space for me to kind of continue to do what I was doing. That was the plan. It wasn't oh yeah, we about to be
all in with this John. We're gonna hit everything up. And we go this one to the next one. Just one. It was gonna be a one and done.
It was my intentions. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what their intentions are. But
yours was one and done.
The way the conversation went, it was a one and done type situation. It was oh yeah, cool. And it was all right, I drive. Oh yeah, the bet. That's what I do. I'm the driver. Let's do this. That's easy. You know what I'm saying? So the morning came and I felt horrible. I didn't want to go. And not trusting those instincts, those gut instincts, led to the actions that were carried out. Actions are based off intentions, and they say that man gets that what he intends. Because when you act on it, that means it was in your heart. So we acted on something that none of us is really sure of its success. We kind of psyched each other out, believing that it would be successful. And a bank was robbed. Unfortunately, it was armed. And before you know it, everything just flashed before my eyes.
Was anybody hurting during the robbery? Nobody was hurt during the robbery, right?
Yeah, they was. It was a high-speed chase. I think it was a 30-car pursuit. It was 2 different pursuits. So we was able to lose them, I'm going to say twice, but there was a vehicle malfunction. So I crashed the car. We jump out. I go to run. Come on, big handsome. I go to run, and I was immediately struck by a police vehicle from behind. Fell on my face, my adrenaline pumping. I jump up, I'm running. There's another one coming. I couldn't time it right. I'm discombobulated. I just got hit by a car. I thought I was going to jump over this next one, and it ran over the back of my leg. So now I'm stumbling towards the ground. I guess I'm pretty much out of commission. I'm definitely probably going to get caught. When I fell down to my face, the third vehicle ran over my body. So it ran over me from my head, my back, and then to the same leg that was hit by the second vehicle that took me down, ran over and tore my foot up like really, really, really bad. Broke me up pretty bad. All the cops coming out at this time, I can't hear nothing. All I see is the lights. All I see is these cops. I'm being called nigger. I'm being called every name you can possibly think of up there in Northeast Philadelphia where the bank was robbed at. They finally picked me up off the ground after what I felt like they was kicking me, but the pain that I was dealing with was so excruciating, not being able to breathe, was that my ribs were broken and they had punctured my lung. I didn't know what was going on, so they slammed me up against the car. I kind of like blacked out. They woke me back up. I see them yelling, cursing. I'm kind of like falling out. They wake me back up. They throw me into the back of the cop car. I'm sitting there and the cop talking to me, but I ain't responding. He was like, "Oh, we got a mute over here." Like, he making his little sarcastic jokes, and they open the door. So I'm like falling out of the door, and this cop slammed the door on my head, and it kind of like gave me like a chance to take a deep breath. I said, "I can't breathe. I think my ribs broke." It's the last thing I said before I knew I was being rushed to the hospital in the back of the paddy wagon. We got to, I think it was Frankfurt Hospital, and all I heard is them saying, "Oh, we losing one, we losing one." I don't think they're talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I was alive. I'm seeing everything going on. I remember the lady, they pounding on my chest. They doing the defibrillator joint, the oxygen and all that. They trying to keep me turned on my side, trying to figure out where the rib could be broken at because there's blood everywhere. But my shirt all ripped off, my hair ripped off in the front, my face is I was twisted. And then the lady said, "Yeah, this one's gone. This one's gone." Bro, and they pulled the sheet over my head, bro. I'm like, "No, I'm not who they're talking about." Like I know I'm not dead. I can't be. Like I felt like I was moving, I felt like I was talking. And I'm like, "No, I'm not going. I'm still here. But that's, I guess, me saying it to myself. And I don't know, bro. Wallahi, bro. I don't know where this lady came from at all. And she was like, "We got to get him to the," whatever she said, "the OR now. I think he can make it." Probably about 2 hours later, bro, I woke up. I was cuffed to a bed, ribs wrapped up, head wrapped up. Stop. Head wrapped up. And, of course, it was a police officer in the room. And they said that, "Damn, man, you died." And the other cop came in the room and was like, "Yeah, I wish this nigga stayed dead. We wouldn't have to deal with this paperwork." So you can imagine what a 19-year-old basketball star, I'm the patriarch, unfortunately, of my family, at the time, my immediate family, especially us, the younger ones. I just didn't know what the end of the road looked like. I didn't know what that tunnel consisted of. Whatever light people say they see at the end of that joint, I couldn't see it right there because it was the beginning. It was the beginning of the darkness. And I've never been so sorry in my life. You know what I mean? I fall asleep. I wake up, bro. It's like 8, 9 doctors, nurses in the room, pounding, beating on my chest. I don't know what's going on. They said if your lungs don't deflate on their own, as inflammation keep building up, we're gonna have to break your chest cavity open and perform an emergency surgery. If you almost died again. So to hear again, it's like I didn't die the first time. I'm not dead. Clearly, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
But they like, that's what the next course of action is. So they put the little button in my hand. They said, if you feel like you're going to be falling out, even falling asleep, hit this button so we can have you better monitor. Mind just cops in the room. Cops don't give a fuck. You pass, you pass. Pardon my language again, bro. I'm sorry. This is a tough part of the story, bro.
No, you straight. Talk to him.
So I asked the cop, I said, listen, can I talk to my mom? Can you call my mom? They said, nah, you grown. You don't have no mom no more. You don't have no dad no more. I said, nah, I still got him. I just want to talk to my mom. I said, my dad probably not in town. You know, I'm talking like it's a regular conversation. I just need to talk to my mom. So
I'm about to say you're supposed to get a phone call.
Supposed to get a phone call, but the cop said, what reason do you think you deserve to talk to your mom? I said, because if I'm going to die in the hospital today, at least I'll die in the arms that brought me into this world. The cop said, well, good luck with that. They walked out of the room. The second cop that was in the room that said nothing the entire time, he said, I never heard that ever in my life, in all the years I've been a police officer. He said, and you happen to look very familiar to me. He said, what do you do? I said, man, I don't do nothing. He said, no, you do some type of sports or something like that? I was like, I just play basketball. He was like, yeah, that figures. He said, it's about 150 people outside this hospital for you. He said, you play basketball at Lincoln? I said, yes. He said, my son goes to Lincoln. I know exactly who you are. He said, I know exactly who you are. I said, I don't go there no more. He said, no, you probably graduated about a year or two ago. I said, yes, last year. He said, don't worry, kid, everything gonna be all right. He said, I'm gonna make sure you get to see your mom. He went outside and got my mom and brought her in. I got all the strength I could to get up, to give my mom a hug. He uncuffed me. I fell straight to the floor. I had no strength. They helped me back up. All I could say was sorry. And that somehow I'm gonna make it out of here. I told her I stayed alive for you. Mm-hmm. That was my words to my mom. I stayed alive for you. And of course, she had to go. And then my dad walked in. And they still claim even till today. My dad just was in Philly like 2 weeks ago. I asked him, I said, do you remember seeing my mom at the hospital? And he said, no. I promise you, I watched him turn sideways so my mom can get out the room. They still say they never seen each other. They still say they never seen each other. Come on, lay down. They say they never seen each other. So I got to talk to my dad, and his understanding was completely mixed up. Now, I don't know which stories are being said, what was going on. So I went into prison with my father believing that my mom made me rob a bank. Bro, that divided our family into 100 pieces, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody know what's going on. Nobody understand what's going on. Nobody know that this was a bad decision made that weekend to that Monday morning that turned into what it became. Nothing was as premeditated as they thought. They thought it was like an ongoing thing that I was putting together. You know, it was a lot of mixed up things because of the custody battles and stuff like that. I went from possibly creating a new like congealment of my family with my basketball talents to a decision that just scattered everybody all over the place. No more love, no respect. You know, it wasn't a family no more. It was just people related by blood. You know what I'm saying? And ended up, you know, tarnishing a lot of relationships, rapports. It messed up a lot of dreams for people. I mean, I got people to today that tell me like, man, when you went away, man, I kind of lost my love for ball. Like it wasn't there no more. Like my vigor to become stopped when they told me you died in the hospital. You know, he said my love for it died then. I said, well, what you do when you found out I was alive? He said, I was just happy you was alive. You know, and this came from a couple of different people. Like it kind of knocked out their pursuit because of, you know how we was when we was young, but we coming to get everybody. We gonna meet at all the courts. We're gonna do our own little basketball workouts. All that was gone. You know what I mean? All that was gone. Getting up at 5 a.m, meeting at the rec to go shoot 300-400 shots a piece. You know what I'm saying? So that decision that I thought was going to put my family in a good space actually
put them worse.
Put them in a way worse predicament, bro. And that was just the beginning of that journey. You know what I'm saying? And leading into that, or what segued me into that, was that I felt like my family, we wasn't going to survive much longer with not being able to eat the right way, or, you know, to see my siblings become malnutritioned because of the lack of being able to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Being neglected by not just on my parents, but older siblings. We got older siblings that could damn near be our parents. You know what I mean? My parents old, my siblings old. You know what I mean? But they had to live their own life. Some of them didn't understand why or how they had to, you know, pitch in where the parents didn't. You know what I'm saying? You know, I hate to say it, but, you know, I even heard of a conversation amongst two of my older siblings where my brother said, why was it his responsibility to make sure that we ate? But that blew my mind to hear that he said that. Like,
You said, why is it his responsibility?
Why? Like, he didn't understand. Why is it my responsibility to make sure that they eat? And I'm putting everything on the line, including my freedom in my life, to make sure that we ate when I thought I was in position to do so. Clearly, it was the worst of positions to put myself in to do so. But when you 8, 9 years old, 10 years old, who else supposed to take the responsibility? If I'm 9 and Miriam's 7 and Mikey 5 and Judy 3, who supposed to take the responsibility up? The 10-year-old, the 9-year-old?
No, it's supposed to be the older. It's supposed to be the older sibling. Yeah.
And I'm at that time 9. That means you 21, 22, 23,
Yeah, you living your
25.
life, ain't worry about nothing.
Nothing, bro. Free spirit. No children. It's like we call you because we ain't eating. You didn't think it was your responsibility to do so because we wasn't your kids. You know what I'm saying? So that was very, very unbelievably selfish. But I don't, you know, people had different understandings of what that means and what that consisted of for different reasons. And I'm not mad at nobody today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For those times back then when we were younger.
You can't let that overtake. I can't say. Listen, I can't say that. I can't say that. I'm not in a position to say that because it's some things in my life is not as deep as yours. Like I forgive, but I just don't deal with you no more, type of thing. Like that's how I learn how to cope with things now. Like I love you. If you need me, if you really need me, it's something like life and death. You need me, I'm coming there for you. But if it's on some regular, like, hey, you good? Yeah, I'm good. You ain't gotta check up on me. If I'm doing bad, it's all good. You know what I'm
saying? No, right, for sure. But my push was, I felt like I didn't have a guy like myself or who I am today. I didn't have this guy growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Prison helped me in so many ways become. What's that? I'll answer it.
No, I said that was my next thing. I just wanted to know, like, you go from getting ready to check a few times. You know, you see your mom, you see your dad. You know, the cop that you know got put in your life to know who you are, because without people knowing you, they think you were just a regular quote unquote N-word. You feel me? Like you just one of them ones, like yeah, whatever. Yeah, I mean, we dispensable to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
for sure.
But after all that done passed and all that time done passed, now you in prison. Now you got a sentence. You got your sentence. You got your time. If I forget the exact amount of numbers. How long did you get? That they sentenced you?
98 months. So it was 8 years and 2 months.
8 years, 2 months.
8 years, 2 months was my federal sentence that was imposed on me. I ended up doing about 94 or 96% of that time, you know, due to survival reasons, you know, in prison.
I understand.
Yeah, you know, a couple of things where I had to defend myself, charged with assault. They gave me a little more time or whatever, but, you know, I was all out of protecting myself. I was a kid, you know, I was afraid. I could rumble at that, you know what I mean?
I got you. So when them doors, my fault. When you went in that jail, when you went in that prison, and you went in there dolo. You ain't going there with your boys that you done did the thing with. You went in there dolo, and them doors, them gates, they closed behind you. What was your mindset when you went in there?
I get out your mouth. Am I going to survive this? Am I going to make it through prison? Because I wasn't in the city, I wasn't in the state. This was the feds. So the repetition you hear about the feds is like, damn, it's people that come in this zone that don't never come back home. You know, it's surrounded by drug life and it's infested with murderers and killers, like the capital ones, the ones facing capital punishment. So you know, at the time I was terrified, especially because I could barely walk when I went into the prisons. I had a walker and I was on 4 different medications on a podcast. I got an interview. I forgot about it. I was on 4 different medications for pain. I'm about to leave. for medication for pain, and man, it was an uneasy place. So when they finally put me into the cell that I was in, of course it's nighttime. Lock me in. They tell the guy that's in the cell, like, yo, you gotta get off the bottom bunk, you gotta get on the top bunk. Now him already having been there and I guess having his time, and he felt like disrespected, like, who this coming in to get the bot? But he see that I had a walker, he ain't paid me no mind, flipped this bed, whatever, he got up there. I'm laying on my bunk, hurting, bro. I'm crying, but I'm trying not to. I'm hoping this dude don't hear me.
Don't hear you. But
yeah, so I'm hurting. And he got down from the bed. He used the bathroom. Now, mind you, a lot of this was like very, very new, very completely new and strange to me. He put like a sheet up across the bed, which was like privatizing him being able to use the bathroom and stuff like that. I had water on. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm thinking the man I think he was drinking out the toilet, bro. It was blowing my mind, the noises I'm hearing from behind this curtain. I don't know what's going on. So he take the sheet down whenever he was finished, towel up his face and stuff like that. He goes stand in the corner of the cell. Now, mind you, it's dark. The only light coming in is the light from outside. The man started chanting or singing, or, at the time I couldn't describe what was going on, but I'm like, damn, they got me in this drawing with a complete nutso. Putting his face on the floor. I heard his head hit the floor a couple of times. I'm like, damn, man, I don't know what's going on. Like, I might not live this first night. You know what I'm saying? If he's slamming his face against the floor, he gonna kill me. You know what I mean? I done took his bump. So he finally finished. And the only thing that I understood when he finished was the greetings, for people that are Muslim. You hear people say salam alaikum. Yeah. You hear that all the time. So I heard him say that. He looked to his right. So I looked to his right to see who he talking to. He looked to his left and said, I looked to the left to see who he talking to. I know it's only me and him in the cell. Bro, I'm like, oh my God, this ain't it. This ain't it. Terrified, bro. Terrified. Because I don't even remember, like, even being in a semi-Muslim family, I don't remember my dad praying in a way where he reminded me of that. So I was like taken back, like, I'm gonna die today. I already know. It's 5 in the morning.
You thought you was in a mass killer.
Man, I was in it with a terrorist. I'm not talking about. I just couldn't believe it. So the brother, when he said that, he gave me the greetings. When he finally looked at me. So I gave him back because I'm hoping that means like we're gonna be peaceful in this joint, right? So he asked me. He said, "You Muslim?" And I said, "Yeah." And he was like, "You don't pray?" I was like, I've been praying ever since I got locked up. And he was like, oh, okay. He said, you could have got up and prayed with me then. I was like, man, I barely can get up. And he said, yeah, you came in with the walker. He said, you should have said something. He said, my name is Basil. He leaned over, bro, and the light hit his face. Bro, the nigga had one eye, bro. So just imagine this dude, bald head. He got the big beard. He got one eyeball. He just did all that at the sink and on the floor, bro. Bro, I'm terrified, bro. I ain't even want to shake the man's hand. I looked at his hand. I ain't know what to do, bro. I'm like, he gonna snatch me out the bed. It's over. You young, you think of prison, like, oh, it's over.
And we from Philly, so we thinking the worst from the rip.
The worst of the worst, bro. I'm like, man, he gonna kill me in here because I'm not about to become this boy baby mom in this joint. Like, this ain't happening to me, bro. I'm terrified. The nigga, he was jacked, bro. Talking about muscles everywhere, bro. I'm like, I'm gonna die. I know I'm gonna die. Bro, I black out. I wake up later on in the day. And this is what the experience became totally different than what I expected from the prison experience, bro. I kind of got up. I used the bathroom as best as I could because I was in so much pain. My ribs, my leg, my head. I said a headache. My head was still swollen. They said I was in the hospital for like a week and a half, like unconscious. I didn't even know that. So the cell door open. It's my cellie. I'm seeing him now with all the lights on. I'm seeing his people in the day room looking around. He like, you all right? I just went back and sat down. I couldn't even take it. It was like I was about to throw up. The smell, I couldn't. It was overwhelming. It didn't stink, but I know they was getting the dinners ready. Room. Oh man, it's timing out.
No, you straight. We good. I don't know what happened. No, I got a guest that just came in here too.
Okay,
you good, 8-9.
Okay, 8-9 brothers come in the room. They all giving the greetings. I'm trying to give them back to each one. I'm confused. So they asked me about, was I Muslim, what I knew. I didn't know too much, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know I never really sat down to read the Quran, but I was in love with the Bible. So I said, if I can get hold of a Bible, like I think I'm gonna be just fine. And they said, all right, well, that's cool, but we're gonna, help you learn to read the Quran. They help one another out when you get to know it. I was like, okay, that's cool, but just give me a Bible and I don't want no trouble, right? It's not, we ain't coming in for trouble. We just trying to make sure you're all right. It's Ramadan. We're waiting to break our fast. They said, is there anything that you need? And the one guy was like, oh, yeah, y'all just got locked up last week. So when he said, y'all, I'm thinking he saw my co-defendants, but he obviously knew it was more than enough of us. I didn't know we made the news that big. And he was like, damn, you the basketball young boy, man. And I'm like, yeah. He was like, damn, man. He said, man, you had a promising career, man. He said, don't worry, man. It ain't gonna be that bad for you. You should be all right. He said, is there anything you need right now? I said, man, I think I need to take a shower. I don't think I washed up in 2 weeks. They said, all right, come on. Bro, the two biggest brothers picked me up. They walked me, like carried me over to the shower, walked me in the shower. Again, but I'm terrified.
You think it's over with?
Oh my God, it's a wrap.
Them stories you hearing, but it ain't like
yeah, man. I'm like, damn, they got me because I don't got no strength, especially against these two dudes. Both of them 6'4", 240. It's monsters that then took me into the shower. I'm like, and nobody said nothing. The guard ain't come over, like nothing. Like I'm just fresh meat like that. So the brothers put the towel up on the shower drawer and they closed it. They said, let us know when you finish. We carry you back to the cell. So I'm like, what the hell? So the brother stood outside the cell. I washed up as best as I could, with the strength that I had. I finished. I finally get my clothes back on. They carried me back over and they said, we about to break our fast. Would you like to eat? And I said, yeah. They brought me out to the table, bro. I didn't have the strength to reach towards my tray. The brothers were so kind enough to take from their portions to give me more food and then to help me eat, bro. The brother put the fork in my hand and was helping me eat my food, bro. I've never been in such a dependable situation that I can remember in my life, probably since I was an infant, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that changed everything. I turned to my cell. I said, why is everybody being so nice? I'm not gay. So, they bust out laughing, right?
They ain't on that time either.
They like, all right, don't nobody wants your butt cheeks out. You cool, right? Like you good. You good. You got some long hair, but we ain't on that, right? So I got to laugh back a little bit like, phew, I thought it was over. Like, I ain't trying to eat y'all food. Y'all niggas feed me. Y'all done carried me to the shower. Like, I'm scared to death. And they was like, nah, man. They said, you profess that you believe in God and you seem like you got like a fighting spirit in you, man. You seem strong for some reason, and we want to cater to that strength, man. You're gonna be all right. You protected by God in here, bro. That changed everything about what my perception of prison would have been. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't go in looking for, guys look for protection. I didn't go in, it wasn't a high profile case, that I need to hide or be in type of disguise. I don't know. It made me look at it as like a true place of what incarceration is supposed to be. It was rehabilitation. You know what I'm saying? It was education. It was an unbelievable training facility. It was unreal, bro. It didn't even seem like what you thought the stories of it would have been because of the way I was introduced to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And from there, the guys never let me really I got into all my own trouble because of basketball. Guys was jealous that I was a little more talented when I finally was able to walk and, physically get myself stronger and to be able to play basketball. I got into all my stuff because of basketball. Never because of anything else. I wanted to learn as much as I could. And part of me wanting to be educated was learning like the Spanish language. Like I'm fluent in Spanish. I read it, write it, and translate it in 4 different dialects. I was
take you with me. I'll take you with me on my next trip. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got to go with you. I got my passport. So, that became something that I wanted to do. I'm like, dang, this will present me with an opportunity when I go home that if they need bilingual translators, I can go to different Spanish countries and teach English. Like I'm thinking of what I can do when I get home because I'm thinking the basketball road is over. You know what I'm saying? No team is going to give me an opportunity after what I have done and then coming home so much older. It was a lot. Religiously, they had the chapel next to the law library, which was next to the library and school. And then from there, I think connected to that was like the Human Resources Center. And then he had, what was it, like commissary and then the chow hall. So it was all like set up in like a process of steps you take yourself through as you do your time. And I stuck to exactly that. I said, I'm gonna educate myself. I'm gonna get myself physically strong. And that's how the stint went. And I thought, like, back to what I said in the beginning of this part of the conversation, like I need to be able to be the guy that I needed in life for the next person. I want to help the next Doug Tucker not make that bad decision. I want to make sure that the kids that have potential to become will become. You know what I mean? They won't have to give up on themselves because they feel like everybody giving up on them. They don't got to worry about in what ways they won't be able to eat or feed themselves or feed their families. You know, I'll be able to give them resources or instill in them some type of confidence to do for themselves or to do things leading up to be able to take care of their family, so they don't make decisions to go the criminal route or the negative route, you know what I mean, or the self-hatred route. I've been fortunate to be able to stop certain guys from committing suicides and bridging the gaps between their families and things of that nature. So I came home thinking, like, what's the true priority in life? And I said, damn, we got to put our kids first. The light bulb went off. I'm like, damn, that's my organization. Our kids first. You know, we need to put our kids first. So we take the time to prioritize investing properly into our futures. Then that means we need to invest in who the future is going to be taken care of by. That's going to be the kids. So I said that the kids have to be prioritized first. That made me come home and push myself towards what I've been doing. You know, being a youth advocate, starting my nonprofit organization, you know, with a couple guys that I was incarcerated with, as well as a couple friends that I was in high school with. We had to revamp it a couple times. Right now, it's currently an established 501c3 in Washington, D.C., as well as Philadelphia. It's called BADJM. It's an acronym, BADJM, Brothers Against Drugs, Jail, and Murder, Incorporated. And that explains in the name itself everything that we're trying to promote and propagate for the youth, and not just for young men, but, you know, young girls as well. But, you know, my situation is I was a young man, and I'm trying to help as many young men as I can not end up in those statistics that we unfortunately fall into, being young and Black and misplaced in our, you know, our potentials and our drives and, you know, in our homes. So that's what I utilize my story to do, is to encourage the next group of, what I like to say, Doug Tuckers, to actually get to be what people wished or believed Doug Tucker could have become. And not just even in the NBA, but to just even be who I'm told as this great guy that I've become today. So mentorship has been my life, bro.
No, bro, I'm proud of you. Like, me hearing this story, like I said when we talked earlier, there's gonna be parts of your story that I didn't hear, and I didn't know that part, like, you know, about the hospital, about your passing. I know we talked about it in the gym. I remember when you first came home. I'm trying to remember, what gym was it? It wasn't LA Fitness. I think it was 10th and Pike.
10th and Pike.
When I first seen you when you came home, and it was like, Doug, you like, yeah, Sean, I heard you've been cutting up out here in these streets.
Yeah, facts.
I'm home now. I said, well, my nigga is up.
Let's get it.
And it's always the same with us. So, but it's like, bro, just to hear your story, bro, and I know, like, that shit sent chills to me hearing it, bro. Like, that's why I'm in all, like, my mouth, like, my eyes going like, what? You did? The car did what? You did what? But it's crazy how life can just alter over, like, a decision, and like one decision, because we trying to cover up the bad, thinking I'm doing some more bad. You feel me?
Right.
Not knowing that if we stay straight, you know, our God going to see us through. Like, we going to get through this, but it takes patience. And that's how I know, like, a lot of our homies is, like, a lot of our homies that went the path they went, they had all the talent in the world to go do something, but they just stopped because of a roadblock, some personal in their life. Some altered them, and they thought about the get rich quick scheme. You know what I'm saying? So, but
that never works out.
No.
It never works out.
And if it does work out, it becomes addictive. So you're going to try it again, and try it again, and try it again, and try it again. But bro, like your
Right.
story just is definitely remarkable, and it's one that need to be told, and definitely overdue for a part two, especially the stage get even bigger, bro. But
Yeah, I appreciate that, man, because there's definitely more
already,
to it.
bro.
I wanted to kind of talk about my journey into professional basketball and stuff like that. Like I got some big opportunities even when I came home, that surprised me that those opportunities still existed after doing so much time and everything that I thought I wasn't going to
Yeah.
be able to even try. I was actually able to do, and I did them extremely well. But other factors, become that,
Mm.
and it's okay. I said, you know what, I can live vicariously through the guys that I train and stuff like that. I got a couple of good notable names of guys that I train
Mm.
right now, helping them on a professional journey and stuff like that. And
Mm.
they chose me as a mentor and a trainer to take them there. They trust in me, they believe in my story, and they use it to motivate themselves. So I'm proud of that.
Mm.
I'm proud of that. But
Mm.
part two, we can get detail more into that. I got some good things with the Sixers and Elton Brand, and with the Denver Nuggets. I've done some good things. So
No,
that's cool.
we definitely gonna tap back into that part of you and part two. But let me ask you some quick questions before you go. Some quick questions before you go.
Yeah.
Give me your top 5 cities that you done visit or played in.
My number one city is the number one city. It's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir.
Out
Yes,
of
sir.
the few places I can say that I've been, it ain't nowhere like Philly.
No.
You know what I'm saying? When it comes to, I think the competitive nature of what we deal with every single day, just as
Mm.
people. And I'm sure everybody in their own cities and hoods and got their own thing going on in their own right. But I'm biased towards Philly being number one, especially with my journey. You know what I'm saying? My competitive. And I went to other places. I felt like I was already that guy going to those other places. But in Philly, I'm just another guy. You know what I mean? And I'm playing against another guy that's the guy when he go to the other cities. So,
Facts.
big respect to everybody in Philly that's been competitors. A lot of the big time ballers that are our friends. The Morris twins, Sean Singletary, Kyle Lowry. Guys of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Philly number one for me. I think secondly, I think the Gym Rat tournament that was in New York when we was coming up. I think playing up there was. I think it might have been at Siena University, but that
Mm.
was pretty crazy for me. Competing at the Gauchos in New York City as well was number two. I like to pin them two together because it was all up there, like the New York, New England, there, all that up there.
Mm-hmm.
New York is probably number two when it came to the Philly versus New York games that I played and competed in. Youngstown, Ohio. Believe it or not, was a lot of talent out of there, guys coming from Akron, coming from Toledo, coming from Cleveland, right down the street from Youngstown. The
Mm-hmm.
Ohio guys was tough, man. A lot of them in the tournaments that I played out there, a lot of the guys came from Indiana, came from Texas. They was unbelievably great basketball players out there. Like
Mm-hmm.
basketball is like they life out there. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? We
Especially
do
in
it. Man, listen, we love it and dream it. Them boys over there, they sleep and wake up. It's basketball.
Hoosiers for real.
Right. North Carolina. I played in Raleigh, Chapel Hill. That's the number 3 spot down there. Washington D.C. They might actually. I was going to say New York was number 2, but Washington D.C. is probably number 2, bro.
I ain't
They
gonna
more
lie
so.
though.
It was guys like us, bro. Like playing against like DC
I ain't
Assault and
going.
all that in
Yeah, I
AAU.
ain't gonna lie to you though. I love Philly, and we fell off for a second. We fell off for a second. DC took that top spot for like a summer. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
They got it for
DC.
one summer. They got it
Yeah,
for one summer, bro.
DC tough, bro. Mike Beasley, shout out to Big Mike. Had some great time competing against Mike coming up, Durant coming up. You know what I'm saying? This is they might be number 2. And it's funny, I named the Philly guys about the most difficult that I had to guard and play against. If we would have went into like the AAU circuit, Eric Gordon and Derrick Rose.
Yeah, they different, bro.
If we ever talk about that on the part 2, then we can
Yeah,
talk about the
we're
guys.
gonna talk about that on part 2.
Yeah,
I got you on
man.
part
Listen.
2 for sure.
Yeah, that was different. But those are the cities that I like them to be to be the best that I've played in and competed against guys, you know, Philly, DC, New York, Carolinas, and Ohio.
Who on your basketball Mount Rushmore? I'm gonna give you 5. Yep, all time. I'm gonna give you 5. Good. Your Mount Rushmore. Give me the 5.
All right, I got a big respect and a great knowledge for the history of the game. So
I don't care about none of that old school stuff. I don't care about the new school stuff. What me and Doug, who on your top 5?
The top of the mountain for me is Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay.
Next to Wilt Chamberlain is undoubtedly Michael Jordan. Undoubtedly Michael Jordan. Next to Michael Jordan, a lot of people might hate this, but the man deserves respect for his tenure in the league. LeBron James is the next guy on that Mount Rushmore for me. And if there's anybody that I had to put up there with them as the greatest imitation, it's the imitation is the greatest form of flattery of Michael Jordan, and that's Kobe Bryant.
All right, I'm gonna give you one more.
Kobe Bryant. And I think, you know, being from Philly, I think we all got this cultural love for the answer himself. It's Allen Iverson, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's Allen Iverson. That's my Mount Rushmore 5 right there, bro.
Who did you study? Like, who did you watch? Like, give me somebody that you watched that nobody would think of. Like, dang, like somebody. I mean, one time I asked somebody that said Mookie Blaylock or something like that. Someone on that type time. Like,
right.
Everybody know the KDs, the Lucas, the Kyries.
No, they my age and younger. I ain't watched them dudes. They watched me when we was playing. Yeah. That's why I said part 2 gonna be fun.
Yeah. So give me somebody that, you know, coming up. You watch that nobody would think.
Abdul Rauf Mahmoud, which was Chris Jackson at the time, was a guy that I watched growing up. And Zeke, Isaiah Thomas, which is my favorite point guard of all time. I studied and watched their games and wanted to have a game like theirs. Of course,
you know, about to break out.
Jordan. Okay, yeah, I tried to pick guys that I thought were, you know, that I had similar games like, or that I would be in similar positions like. So Nick Van Axel. Nick Van Axel was another one that I looked at. Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. Those were the guys for me.
I got you. I see you got to hit the road, bro.
Yeah, I got to pick my son up from school. Yep.
I appreciate you, bro, for your time, bro.
Man, same here, bro. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I appreciate this opportunity, bro.
Thank you, bro. Yeah. Ain't no problem, man. Red Coast Podcast, having dope conversation in a comfortable setting, bro. Appreciate you, bro. Love.
Man, thank you, man. Love you too, bro.
Always.